7 o'clock. I'd like to start the meeting to order. Please all rise and say a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to call the November meeting to order. I'd like to thank you all for coming. Nice crowd. First of all, first edition is any additions to the agenda?
I have a couple of things that I had forgotten to put on there for under items for discussion or possible action. We did receive a bid for snow removal, so let's add that.
I'll put that under section 11.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the other thing that I wanted to run past you guys was music lessons from our high school music teachers.
Okay. Any other additions? Any additions? Would like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda with 2 additions.
Is there a second? Okay, all, any discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Okay, we have community agenda speakers to the agenda tonight. We have 4 speakers. I'd just like to go over this up. The legislative made sure that we would do the this year, and so we initiated this policy in July, and this is our first chance of having speakers tonight, so that's good. I'd just like to go through this really quick for you. We have 4 speakers. Each of them will be limited to 5 minutes. Mr. Fall will time you, and he will just gently ask you to stop, and please stop at the 5 minutes. Public comment is limited to the agenda item, and I think you're all okay with that. Public comment may be pertinent to the school district. Public comment should not be defamatory, abusive, harassing, and we'll do that. So another thing I'd like to point out to you is that the presiding officer or appropriate member, which is Mr. Loft, will answer all pertinent questions verbally or writing at a later time. There will be no dialogue between board members and public at board meetings except to clarify the nature of questions or comments. We're not going to get into any kind of arguments. We're just going to let you speak your opinion. So, Jackie, you are up first.
Who do I give this material to? This is what I'm speaking on, but it's in the amount of where I'm taking it from. So who would you like to have it?
All board members, I guess.
Oh, okay. So I'll do my best to put this into 5 minutes. I'm here to speak on Section 106, which is the National Historic Preservation Act that was passed in 1966. This section requires federal agencies to consider the effect of their undertaking, which could be construction, renovation, or other projects. This is a mandatory with or without the nomination or the registration of historic places, meaning the nomination doesn't affect this. This is existent without the nomination. What you should understand about Section 106 is the impact of the school decisions. The mandated law affects the school because you have built, operated on federal funds and state funds. This has triggered a possible restrictions that the board expressed objections at the nomination. It is not the nomination that brings these objections that you're fighting against. It is Section 106 that trumps the directions of your actions. In the state nomination meeting at the Capitol, Emily stated, Procedure 106 is triggered and it has nothing to do with the nomination. As you spoke about your objections against the nomination to the State Historical Board, you admitted to poor conditions of the building under your supervision as managers. This could trigger, and it may not, a review under Section 106. Triggering Section 106 is a consultation process. The federal agency must engage with the stakeholders, including the historical preservation offices. They must seek out and consider the views of the community and their interest in preservation. Also, Section 106 acts as a safeguard preventing the loss of these resources from unchecked development. There are countless examples of Section 106 making a difference and saving historical neighborhoods, such as highway expansions and etc. So the nomination, historical nomination, is separate. It is an independent action which gives you more opportunity to resource funds for the management of our district. It is the funding that the board stated many times over you were lacking to care for the said property. So B.M. Hansen was purchased, operated with state and federal loans and funds. I remind you, in the funding subject, that will subject you then to Section 106. I want to reiterate that the obligation of Section 106 is not affected by our nomination. It is purely for the funding. In closing, Section 106 of the Historic Preservation Act is more than just regulatory requirements. It's a promise to the future generations that you honor and protect their heritage. Harvey has a great heritage state and federal entities already knew about. The Section 106 mandated our state to do that research in advance. So therefore, upon approval of the nomination, the school is open to more financial opportunity. The school district will by no means magically escape or ignore Section 106 review process. When agreements cannot be reached between the state, federal, and local entity, this could bring consultation, mitigation upon the adverse decision of the board or future boards. This is the very reason nomination funds are available. By using the funds, you will please both parties and avoid such confrontation. If you want to learn more about it, we'll have it on People Press Harvey on the YouTube channel. Now remember, you've always been facing legislation of 106, whether you knew it or not. All county entities and city governments who have received state and federal funding have it knocking at their doors. The nomination do have guidelines and expectations for their grants. However, so does your Title I through 4 B legendary transportation grants that you currently utilize. These grants that you use put expectation and written report of their usage to show that you are operating correctly daily. It's no different with the nomination grant that we are trying to get. Together we can continue building the future that respects our past as well as our future by becoming better informed of what we are facing. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your input. Pam, first time, you're up next.
I just want to say regarding the nomination for the school board to think outside the box. It's with my experience with Manford, I was sure we're a museum, but we have to think outside regarding our volunteers and the 50-50 grant. You can't stay with the blinders with what you're familiar with. The lay people they're not familiar with the process of the national preservation of buildings. You know, normally it's not something you think about really, you just go visit them. And the process, it's great for funding, and stay positive, use a community. I would suggest a community committee, a building committee, to help with the research for any grants, not just federal. There's organizations, there's big, rich family foundations. Your education, it's gonna open up a lot for you. So think positive about it and ask questions. The preservation people are very helpful. I mean, we can call them any day, and they will help with anything, questions that you have. It's a great way, I think, that you can, raise money. Schools, you think about sports, raising money for sports, but the building there is special. The architecture is special. it can be saved. The funds can be used to start small. If you're not familiar with it, start a small project, not $100,000 project, just to get your feet wet, so to speak. Anyway, it's a positive thing. Use the community, get a committee, building committee, to work with you with good communication. It can be a great success for the students and the community, I think. But that's all.
Thank you. Thank you for your input. We appreciate that. Brian, you're up next.
Name is Brian Argabright. I've been in Harvey 5 years. When I got talk to you guys tonight, I asked myself, what can I say to you that'll open up your minds? What can I say to you that would tear down the barriers so you'd really listen to what these people are trying to tell you? I've been in an industry, professional income tax preparation for 50 years. I have seen more change than anybody can imagine in those 50 years. I've had to embrace it. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about tax credits. I'm not going to bore you with the details. I'm going to tell you they're there. They're there and they can help you recover a percentage of your costs. Some 20%, some 30%, all the way up maybe up to 50%. I'm not going to bore you with the details. Just know that it's there. Second thing I want to talk about is a couple years ago, the community resoundingly stated they didn't want a big bond issue. That was a really big issue when they voted. We don't know what your plans are. The community doesn't know what your plans are. Tell us. This community is asking to be involved. They're asking to be on committees. They're asking you to do some of the research. There's grant writers in the community that will do that. Use them. Get rid of all that garbage, because if you continue on a path of adversarial, you'll tear this community apart further. You need to be leaders. You need to bring this community back together. You need to modify your expectations and work with people that are here. There's professionals in every area. I'm not going to tell you which heating one is the best. I'm not going to tell you which electrical is the best. I know there's different ways. Do you have to build an elevator, or is there other methods? I don't know those answers. I can assure you, somebody not in this room will know those answers, can bring it together. And that's what I'm here for. I mean, I know that we have this wall. I know we have other people pushing that. I've traveled around the world. One of the best things I like is go into an old building 400 years old. They're not built any better than that school. The difference is they're kept up. They're kept up and they're loved. This community loves that building. Without any assurance, they love it. And your job is to bring the community together and make it right without bankrupting the rest of the town. That's what I'm here to say. Open your hearts, open your minds to new ideas, to new presentations, to new things. Grants are awesome. I wrote a grant for the Pheasant Inn elevator, $500,000, USDA. They never had to pay it back, and they used it to help the bird feed factory in Carrington. That's what they use that for. Can it be done? Yes. Can other people do it? Yes. Can it help your budget in repairing that building? Yes. Think outside the box. Ask for help. That's what I'm here to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. James Wyman?
Good evening, my name is Jim Weinman. I'm from Harvey. Thank you for letting me talk tonight. Okay, I'd like to piggyback a little bit on Pam and Brian and Jackie. They asked me to speak a little bit on the historical preservation of buildings and the grants and things like that, how they function. Well, before we get into that, I would like to make sure we're on the same page. We are not adversaries of you. We are all on the same team, and we want to work with you. Like Brian said, open up your doors and use the resources we have within our community. It seems like they're not being used, okay? Now, just for an example, we just went through the nomination to get on the historical registry. You can hire a firm that does all that work for you. Jackie did most of that work. It's a $15,000 to $20,000 bill to have them do it. They were so impressed with her presentation, they did it pro bono. All that was done for nothing because of the work that's been done in our community. So what I want to emphasize is that we want to be on your team. We want to work with you. Ask us so we can ask others, so we can ask others, so we can do something the best way we can. And I want to refresh something for you, and I don't mean to say this in a bad way, but James Mertz and I met one time for 2.5 hours. I found I didn't know Mr. Mertz. I found him very respectful, very open. We had a good conversation. In our conversation, we went over all kinds of alternative methods for financing the school and other things, okay? And put that aside, another time I came before the board to discuss a business plan of action and a plan. I was allowed 2 minutes to speak and to address 30 years of neglect, okay? Then I went and I watched the meetings of your school board talking about this historical society, preservation society, and I also watched the filming when the introduction was made to the state for money, okay? And I heard at least twice, I couldn't tell who was talking. Colette was talking one time, I believe Wade was talking one time, Mr. Oloff was talking one time, about why was this dropped in our lap? We never heard anything about it, okay? I was getting to that in my business plan, and I talked about the historical preservation. Either you weren't listening, or you didn't hear it. So it wasn't brand new. We talked about these alternative methods, but what I found very disrespectful, when I got to that portion, Zane went up, your 2 minutes is up, Mr. Weinman. How could you learn about any of that when you shut us out to try to help you? I don't get it. I mean, I just don't get it. The point is, we want to work together with you. There's money available, 50-50 matches. Another thing, Mr. Loff, I want to just bring to your attention. In that presentation to the state, I think it was you that said, we own the school. Okay? I don't know if it was you. Somebody said that. Okay, there is a breakdown on owning historical structures. If you own that property individually, you get to make the decision if you want to demolish it or not. Okay? If you own it as an entity like the school district, I'm not so sure you get to do it by yourself. Just something to keep in mind, okay? And like 106 says, you guys are already hooked in because WPA money was put in there, money for our educational schools. It's all federal money, so you're already linked in. I don't know that you can or can't, I don't know, but in my opinion, the school has a lot of historical significance and balance. I would like to see it kept. I'd like to see a new school too, but we got to pay for it. Okay, so if you have any questions, it's very difficult for me to elaborate on funding for historical preservation of buildings when I don't know what your plans are. I don't know what your objectives are. I don't know your time frames. All of those things factor into putting, again, a plan. We don't know that. I don't know if you know that. You're exempt from here because you weren't here. Neither was Brad, but the rest of you were here. So tell us, Wade, tell us. We want to be friends with the board. We want to help the board. We all want a new school. We all would like to have a new school, but the citizens spoke in District 38. They don't want to do it right now. They don't want to pay the bill. But there are other ways to raise money. There's a lot of money around. But we have to work together. I just feel like even people that were my friends, they look at you like, what are you trying to do? I'm trying to work within the district to help the district. That's what we're trying to do. And I don't know what else to say or how to approach it. We will work with you. We want to work with you. Time, you say?
Anything else on that, Mr. Law? Okay. All right, we're gonna go to the National Registry nomination. Okay, so, first of all, I will, thank you for speaking and give you that right to speak and your thing. I think it's understandable. I'm just gonna start off real brief here and then I'm gonna let the rest of the board speak. And I know that, as a board president, my initial reaction was, well, where's this money gonna come from? The safety of the building, and I know there's a lot of things here that do that, so I know the board came off as 4-1 against this. I just think there was too many unanswered questions for us. And so, with that, and again, I'm just concerned where this money's gonna come. So, who else would like to speak? Mr. Loft, do you have anything to say?
No, not as of right now. I mean, for me, and it's probably more so just being new to this role and new to this school district is the unknown. My concern is the unknown, and perhaps with the speakers we've had today, I've got some more insight into people that can give me more information as to what this entire process looks like. So yeah, as of right now, I have reservations, but the reservations are because I just don't know.
Okay, anybody else?
I can go and check, because when I had first called, North Dakota State Historical Society, she said, well, there's 30 school districts, and I'm not saying good or bad, I'm just stating facts. So I did go on the national listing. There is 30 in North Dakota that has anything to do with education, whether it's a district or a building or whatever. So I dug into each one of them, and out of the 30, 7 of them are either a 1 or a 2-room schoolhouse that's maybe used for like voting. One was like in Medora, it was kind of like a log house or something or other. 9 of them are closed. One of them is actually a private Catholic school. Let's see, 5 of them were parts of a college that, they had a lot of donors and things. 2 of them have been sold that are using portions of it for apartments, and 1 school, they're letting them use what used to be the gym. They tore all the bleachers, they used to use it as a practice. And there's only 6 buildings that are actually being used for education. One is in Devil's Lake, and 5 of them are in Grand Forks. They are in the process of right now of getting one that's hiring engineers and architects and all these different things or whatever to get it to say that it's not usable anymore. So they've gotten that one off, and then they're going to move on to the next or whatever. So it kind of scared me a little bit. It was like, okay, I thought, wow, there's 30 of them, but now it's like, well, there's so few. And out of those in Grand Forks, the oldest building that's still being used is from 1953. The rest were newer up to 1961. He did say that some of those, some of them that were closed, all around that same time period. Some of them that are still going is because they had he said it's a terrible thing to say, but he said the 1997 flooded a lot of them. So their main floors and their HVAC systems got redone. So, but like I said, they are slowly working on one by one. They've actually had a couple that were on that they had already closed up. So that just brought me a little bit of question as to how hard is it for a school versus something else. I get there is grants. We do need to know more. I'm the same way. I didn't say, which I did not appreciate, to be on the YouTube channel that it said that I was angry. I said that day I was extremely disappointed. Yes, we had heard someone one time bring up about a historical thing, but I guess I just felt like if it was truly something that is good for the community, maybe we could have started with the whole community getting together and learning more about this together instead of kind of coming at the end of it, or whatever, and things and stuff. So there's just still a lot of questions. I did talk to the gal about grants and things at the state level, and unfortunately, the legislature did not give them any money for this 2-year session, so there wouldn't be anything from the North Dakota Historical Society, but there is other ones. She did email me, I didn't get it until about 3:30 today, so I'm not really 100% sure of all the other ones to look at that, as to which ones we would qualify for as a school and different things or amounts. I'll look more into that, or whatever. I guess, whatever we get is good. First of all, nothing is guaranteed when we go to apply for a grant. My big question is that looking at the large amount that there is to do on that building, we need some grants that are gonna be millions and millions of dollars.
Well,
Because,
Just-
that's my only scare. It's like
Right.
we need, because even 6 years ago, it was estimated to be $10.3 million to bring it up to code, so obviously it's more,
well,
so.
and the rate of inflation from 2019 is 26.72%, so that 10 million goes up to over 13 million.
So if we could
I
find
mean, that's the
something.
thing, it's,
If they're 50/50 grants, it'd be nice if we could find something, if they could help us find something for, $8 million or something, that we could maybe only have to do so much locally, or whatever, or something, so there's just still a lot of questions, I guess, or whatever, so that's, I won't repeat a lot of what I heard, but a lot of them, we're really struggling, with the buildings, but anyway, that's what I found out. I called, checked on all 30 of them. That's where it actually sits at. There's only 6 buildings that are actually being used for education.
Okay, anyone else?
I guess I'd like to say that a year and a half ago when the bond failed, that didn't necessarily give you a right or a mandate to pursue something else. That was about building a new school. That wasn't about pursuing other alternatives. Just a few minutes ago, we approved a request for somebody to go look for funds for Lego robotics. So we do have a process to work together. I just don't feel like it was followed on this one, and that's where my frustration is.
Matt?
I guess, yeah, I'm sure there's grants, but there's also strings attached. And I'm afraid that it's gonna cost you more in the end, having to jump through their bureaucracy to get it. And it's gonna slow things down. I mean, it's a snail's pace the way it is. It's gonna make it worse. And future boards too. It's it's going to restrict us. It's going to restrict future boards. No one brought up the negatives. I mean, everyone. It's all fabulous, free money. Why aren't all the schools doing it? That's my concern. If you have so many districts, you have Devil's Lake is one building. And then the district, so it's really 2 districts.
Yeah, because Grand Forks at the other side.
That's my concern. I need to learn more about it, and maybe there will be some good things, but I mean, I think right now we're facing a big furnace thing that we're going to have to focus on, probably number 1, which, how much more are they going to make us, you just don't know what they're going to make us do, not do, what they can do. I mean, it's just, you got to ask permission. I kind of look at it as the wildlife. Years ago, they sold wildlife easements on land. Now we got to deal with that BS. When they sell them a couple sloughs back then, now they say, oh, we got the right to the whole corner, which they don't. So it's just a lot of stuff you got to go through and deal with nowadays. That's my worry.
I don't know if it's, right now we're staying in limbo. We just kind of have to wait and see, because it's up to whatever they finally send it off to the national and what they what they decide, so.
I want to let Vanessa talk first, because we haven't talked yet, and then we'll talk about what our options are.
So first of all, kind of disagree with this whole concept of being upset about this group because Dr. Lukens knew very well, and if the rest of this board didn't know, that's on him. If he's the one that didn't bring it to the board and say, well, you guys should come and get this approved, that's not the group's fault. That's.
Was he actually told that it was for a historical registered nomination? In the email that I seen, it did not say that. It just they asked.
I don't know.
I'm not saying, because I wasn't in on it, but can I ask a question? How long have you known about it?
I've known for a while.
Thank you for telling the rest of us.
How did I know that you didn't know? You guys know everything.
I don't know everything.
Dr. Lukens knew. And you guys always know what he knows.
It was also stated that I knew, and I had no. I mean, I talked to Jim Weinman for that meeting, that was how many years ago? And I think it was discussed there a little bit, but it wasn't like, we are gonna apply. It was just like, there's other funds, I mean, but I didn't know there was any application process.
I think instead of being so upset with this, seriously, there's a lot of work that went into it, and a lot of dollars that it saves the district as far as compiling a document that is pretty cool and should, in my opinion, create a lot of community pride. That school honestly is very cool. And I knew this a long time ago. Paul was on the committee to evaluate the schools in 2009. And at that time, when he was walking around with the, whatever, those people that do that stuff, they said, I believe it was the south structure of the grade school is the best structure we have in all of our buildings. Better than the high school, better than any of the others. He said this is at least a 200-year structure. It'll last forever. Quite honestly, the people who were spreading the rumors that the school was going to fall down after the bond makes me really upset. That school structure is very good. Most of it is better than this one. It needs work, absolutely. This one's had boatloads of work poured into it. That one has not. I don't see this historical thing as being millions of dollar windfall rate, but exactly what we need so that you can do a project here, a project there. You can apply for $50,000 grant, get a $50,000 match, and do a wiring project or you don't have to knock walls out of that school to do a wiring project. You don't, there's so many different ways you can do things than having to stick $10 million into that school. I know it. And I know we have people in this community that can help make it happen. And that, I think, is where we went wrong with the bond 2 years ago, because nobody would explore those options. We're just going to get rid of that and add on to this, and that's all there is to it, and that's what we're doing. I've been asking for that information for 6 years.
My biggest thing is that if it was such a wonderful thing, why wasn't it done as a community? I think it would have been great then to go to the community and
Everybody is invited to those meetings.
I don't even know when they are or where they are. Is it publicly advertised? But beside that fact, I'm not talking about just that.
Yeah.
Why
So,
shouldn't it have been?
I think
That was my surprise.
I think okay, so Aaron, let's talk about what we learned at the meeting. What we learned at the meeting was that the Historical Society passed the motion. There was a lot of reservations on the society, some reservations, but it did pass.
Yep.
With the recommendation that they had to change what the debt. So if that passes, and it passes the step, there's really nothing we can do about it. However, we have a right to express our opinions, correct?
Yep, correct.
So tell us how we can do that.
So initially, when we wanted to dispute that initial nomination, we put together a letter to do so. Another thing that I was provided, which kind of falls along the same lines, and I'm not sure how powerful it would be, obviously contingent upon board decision, we can construct a school board resolution that would be an objection. I believe a school board resolution does carry a little bit more weight than just a notarized letter. As far as I can tell, and I haven't visited with the gal from the Historical Society, she hasn't reached back to me since we had that meeting on the 31st of October. As far as I know, that's about all we can do at the time being. If she gives me more information as to other steps we can take, I'm certainly going to communicate those to you guys. From the outside looking in, and this is 100% my opinion, being here for 5 months and having this dropped on me really took me back. I knew nothing about it. I wish I had had any sort of inclination whatsoever that this was something that was going on, because then I could have mentally prepared for it. Going through the processes of applying for grants and determining what the needs are of that building based on highest need, prioritizing the changes that need to be made or the improvements that need to be made, that all takes considerable work. Work that I'm not necessarily prepared to do in my first year in this role, because I'm trying to learn what this school district how it operates, what it's all about. Had it been a year later, I'd have been a lot more open-minded to it. Like I said, my concern is I'm trying to learn the ins and outs of this school district and how to maintain and make sure it's functioning properly. This is just something that really took me back. I just wasn't mentally prepared for it, and it's a challenge that I wasn't ready to face.
It's something we're all going to have to adapt and try to figure out how to best move forward, I guess. What is best for the safety and students of our school system, we're going to have to work with this, all right?
Well, and that's one of the things about it is we don't have to do anything now.
No, we can't. We can't actually do anything till it's passed. So.
Right, and even once they do, I mean, like you said, there are no funds available right now. There is no kind of rush on this, except, I mean, honestly, if there's any rush, it's the rush of the fact that we need to do some things to protect the health and safety of the students as it is.
And I agree with that. So I think with that, we need to move on. I think we've all expressed our opinions. We all have opinions, and I think we need to respect each other. I think that's important here.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay. Thank you for your comments. All right, so we'll go on next item then. Mr. Roth, you want to talk about the goal progress measures, please?
Yeah, so I'm finally starting to dig in a little bit with the Be Legendary training that the school district or school board has kind of gone through. One of the things that I've been focusing on over the last month or so is goals and goal progress measures. And the one that I've dug into for this month, it's kind of twofold because I didn't have a whole lot of input or information with the original goals that were set forth when this plan first took action. But what I did was update the goal progress measure specifically to grades 7, 8, and 10. As far as the percentage of students who tested proficient or above in reading as measured by the North Dakota A+ interim assessment in January. Some of the data that was in there, I've gone back and looked at our records and looked at insights, and I don't know if they were necessarily accurate. So with that goal progress measure 2.3, at our last January interim assessment, students in grades 7, 8, and 10, 45% of those students tested at proficient or above during that interim assessment. So I went ahead and modified that goal progress measure as on a superintendent level in hopes that that goal progress or that goal will improve from 45% in this past January to 65% in January of 2030. It's a pretty lofty goal. But one of the things that, in talking with the Director of Assessment at the Department of Public Instruction, he said with the change from North Dakota State Assessment to NDA Plus, they have some areas that they know need to be modified, and he said realistically, that level of proficiency for those grade levels is above the state norm. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there. I plan to, for the December meeting, to look at the math version of that goal progress measure. But just know that I'm kind of digging into this stuff a little bit at a time so I become more familiar with it and so we can kind of get back on track with that, those goals and goal progress measures.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Goff? Okay, then we'll move to the approval of the consent agenda.
Yes, I want to take that.
Yeah, that's fine. And I figured that was coming. You okay with the rest of it?
Wait, I didn't hear what she said.
She wants to take the bills off.
Okay.
No,
That's
that's
okay. I just
totally
didn't
fine.
hear
She
what she
just-
said.
Is it any other? So if seeing no other, I would entertain a motion to accept the approval of board minutes 1, 2, 3, and 4.
And that's the second reading of.
And it's also the second reading of the. I don't know, one.
Policy.
DED.
Yeah, okay.
That one too, okay. I'll make a motion to go ahead with the second reading of policy DED and the 4 sets of minutes for under the consent agenda.
Okay. Is there a second? A second? Probably move second that we approve for the consent agenda, board meetings, October, special meeting, October, special meeting, October, special board meeting, November, and the policy. Any discussion? Discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Okay, and now I would entertain a motion to accept payment of the bills, and then we can discuss it.
I'll move to accept the payment of the bills.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, James and Colette. Okay, probably moving second to approve the bills. Now we'll ask for questions or discussion.
What is the Parent Institute?
I think that was Title I subscription and supplies. Maybe it says, top of the next page. I think that was just a renewal. I remember it. For
I
sure.
don't remember that name before, that's why I asked.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I did see that under the description, it says Title I subscription and supplies. So, the bottom of 26, top of 27. I know there's been some, did you have a renewal of something? And I do see that's the code that was used.
Yeah, I'm just looking back. It says, it's a subscription.
Subscription.
Yeah, helping children learn newsletters. Yeah,
We don't know if this is new or not.
what's that?
We don't know if this
It
is
says it's a
new.
renewal, so it must be,
Okay.
not be new.
It's on page 26.
Yeah, it says Title I subscription.
Okay. Okay, we good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Right, I do see that is the code that is used.
My next question was, page 33, also at the bottom of the page. University of Oregon.
Yeah, it was just,
SWIS. That's a behavior, accountability
program.
PBIS, yeah, for positive behavior reinforcement.
That hadn't been renewed for a while.
I'll talk about that in my report.
Okay. On the, then it's visa questions, I guess, it says speech hotel, but speech hasn't been going on for a long time, so I'm just curious what this one. Sorry, this is pages 35,
Yeah.
and there's one on 37.
Yeah, they had every September, they have a,
What was that? There's a- oh,
Yeah.
okay. And then the other one is the superintendent check on that visa, on page 36. And if that's something Mr. Loft is using, I'm fine with that. If we're still paying for subscription that Director Wilkins had, then that's not okay.
I think that did come up because we had thought it was stopped. I know he texted a couple of us, and when the September statement came, it wasn't on there. Because he said he had changed and put his own personal visa number in. So I remember I think he had a couple of us on a text, and I asked, and it's like it wasn't on the September statement, so I said, yep, must be stopped. Well, here when you got the October one,
It was on twice.
it must have hit like the cutoff in September, so it was
It's on the
about,
11th.
so I know you had talked to him and he's still trying, he said he's gonna send the $40 for it and he's still trying to get it to
I
these.
think Chad's working on that, aren't you, Chad? I think he's working on it.
Can we not call Visa and cancel it?
Yeah, I think that's,
I went to the bank
That's what I
and they said that we can dispute it, but the only way to stop it is to get a new credit card.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too, can't we just dispute it? Like if it comes again.
They called down with his one and that's,
May
But
not
he has
be
been
the end
fighting
of
it.
the world to get a new credit card.
yeah, yeah.
That was
So,
all I had.
yeah, I think Chad will work into that. I think Chad, you've been aware of this, and you brought it up to me too, so he's gonna try to stop it. Any other questions? Okay, any other questions on the bills? Any other questions on the bills? Any questions on the bills? All in favor of paying the bills, please say aye. Okay, motion passes. We'll pay the bills. Okay, Mr. Law, you're up.
All right, couple facility updates. Al from Johnson Controls was here a couple of weeks ago to do some repairs on the fuel oil boiler. It wasn't burning clean, so he had to change a couple of gaskets and reseal a couple of things, so that's up and running correctly. We also got the auger back from Center, and Al also installed that the same day. I don't believe that's been fired up just yet. The elementary counselor office, Lang Enterprises will be replacing the fall ceiling in the office in the next couple of weeks. We have, as far as snow removal is concerned, we've placed an ad for bids in the newspaper for snow removal. We have received one bid, and that'll be opened up later in the meeting. Chad's been working with Zane quite a bit to ensure that all of our business is handled in a timely manner. Zane's been very helpful and accommodating in that transition. We are advertising for a business teacher position. We received a couple of applications, and some people have also expressed interest in the position as well. I did have a phone conversation with a interested candidate last week Friday, and it sounds like they're going to submit application materials to me in the next couple of days. And I do know that there's another person that's also interested in that position. Today I spent the day at FFA District Leadership and Rugby, helping out as a judge for in the area of employment skills. It was really, really neat. I did that last year too. We interviewed 7 different students today, just about various fake, so to speak, positions in the agriculture field that they were applying for, and we did a full interview, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's interesting to see that different side of kids that you typically don't see just in the school setting. So it was a really enjoyable day for me there. We do have a certified staff member that has turned in their resignation, and that will be brought up later in this meeting. Principal evaluations I'll be working to complete the evaluations of Mr. Haas and Mr. Embry in the next couple of weeks. These evaluations are due twice a year for the first 3 years in their respective positions. Infinite Campus. Mr. Haas, Mr. Every, Mrs. Storbeck, and I met with representatives from Infinite Campus on the 6th of November to establish our team moving forward. We also met with them last week Friday and yesterday to start going over some of the processes and documentation. Back when the Department of Public Construction announced that we were going to make the transition to Infinite Campus, none of them really had a whole lot of information for us as we were going through meetings and things of that nature. It's a lot. We have a meeting scheduled at a minimum every 2 weeks between now and the middle of September. So a lot of that transition is being placed on our school district specifically. The biggest challenge with being a smaller school district is that we don't have the staffing in place, an IT department, etc., that can take a lot of this stuff on and just, help create a seamless transition. A lot of it falls on the shoulders of administration, business manager, tech department. It's a lot. So we're gonna keep plugging away. I mean, it's one more huge thing on the shoulders of people who already don't have a lot of time for that kind of thing. But our hope is that we get some training or more insight from as we progress into the switch over to Infinite Campus. Nope. And it's kind of frustrating that we're not getting much in terms of support from the Department of Public Construction. My mentorship group met yesterday on a Zoom meeting, just discussed various things that we're seeing in our districts. It's kind of funny, it doesn't matter what size of district you're in. Every district has the same challenges, but at the same time we're all having different celebrations as well. So that's been really beneficial for me so far this year. The Fall Sports Banquet will be held next Monday, November 24th at the Eagles Club starting at 6. It was brought to my attention last week that at the grade school they have done a after-school program a couple days a week between Thanksgiving and Easter, just to help some of those kids a little bit, give them a little extra time to work with teachers, so we're exploring the possibility of continuing that through this year. And the last thing I have this evening, I put together 5 different options for a calendar for next school year. 5 is a lot. Once you start going down that rabbit hole, you could get really creative and get those 175 days in. So I'll be sending those out to teachers at both schools just to try to get some input in hopes that we can come to the December meeting with a recommendation for a calendar to approve for next year. So, and that is all I have this evening.
Any more questions for Mr. Locke?
Mr. Locke, on that after-school program, isn't that covered underneath one of the titles?
Yes. So in the past, it has been paid for under title funds. That's something that I just wanted to visit with Chad more about to make sure that that funding is there so we can implement it with fidelity.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that.
Yep.
Okay.
The business manager, people that are interested, is that for this year yet or for next year?
Business teacher?
Teacher.
Teacher?
He's already like, well, come on here. What do I not
Tell me
know?
something.
He's
I
a
just
month
gotta
in.
see. That's fine.
In a perfect world, you'd find somebody, but mid-year. But that's the reality of that's pretty slim.
So they're interested.
The people that I have heard are interested are currently teaching elsewhere, not necessarily in business specifically, but they have the credentialing to allow that.
Thank you, I just wanted that.
Yep.
And the sooner you can grab them, the better off we are. So
Yeah,
let's be aggressive.
that's what we're doing.
Okay, any more questions for Mr. Locke? If not, I would entertain a motion to accept this report.
Second.
Vanessa, second. What? Probably moved by Vanessa, second by Colette to accept Mr. Locke's report. Discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Okay, 7 through 12 principal, Mr. Everett? Oh, yes it is, I'm ahead of myself.
Trading place.
I looked at elementary. You don't want to be 7 through 12? I'm sorry, Mr. Hash.
They're done that.
I don't think Kelly wants to be.
Mr. Hash, sorry, Mr. Hash, I apologize.
You're all good.
I apologize.
So, hopefully you all got the video on the report, so answer any questions that you might have or anything that I didn't cover that you are interested in.
Can you explain the levels on the A plus?
We're working through that. So in the grades K through 8, or sorry, 3 through 8, there's 5 levels for proficiency. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then anything above that is 3, 1, 2, 3. So the way we're currently looking at it, because it's so new, is that level 1 is below, level 2 is at, and level 3 is above. I'm not 100% sure how that is. Mrs. Galvin and I are getting into it, but we're in year 2 of it.
So they don't give you
They don't give you proficient advanced knowledge, it's level 1, 2, and 3.
From what I was told, and this is the DPI still trying to figure out exactly what that looks like. He said the ones that fall in that middle category, you could roughly split them, take half go one direction, half go the other direction. So it's pretty muddy yet. Yeah, I know.
And that's why we still kind of use STAR for a lot of those
Yeah.
analysis.
Okay, my other question was, I'm so not good with acronyms, what's EWIMS?
So EWIMS is something new. It's an early warning intervention system that creates with an
Okay.
Yeah, so it's something that's been used. It works both social, emotional, and academics. It's a piece that will go in. Like this is brand new. Korea happened to get a person on staff that works with it. They asked if we would be part of the pilot program. I met with her. We talked about it, and I said, we're working on our multi-tiered systems for interventions, and we're working on these other pieces that, I don't want to put too much on my plate. She goes, nope, I understand that, and she goes, I'm here to guide you. I'll be the person that's in touch with you all the time, and this will work with your system for your kids to help with that. So it's another thing to help with our kids, whether it's social, emotional, so we don't fall through the cracks and get into not good place. So I'm learning about it as we go.
different field trips. You know, which I have seen some on the announcements and things, but they are going to different things, whether, you know, it's more like hands-on things, and you're not just all going to a college fair. This was all the different kinds of things. I thought that was pretty neat. And it looked like it was pretty well received from the students too, from the pictures and things.
And Mrs. Galvin's on top of that, there was, they actually had one for kind of the arts. That was a full day that was gonna be, and reached out to some kids she thought would be interested, and they just decided they didn't wanna go spend the day down there. But yeah, she's always kind of looking, can we hit everything, because, you know, now there's a big push, you can get trades anywhere, you can before your college, what about positions, like going to that aviation thing, we had more kids than I thought would have been interested. And came back and I was like, oh, I didn't realize we could do this or that. So yeah, it's been good. She does a good job.
Okay, any more?
Move to accept.
Okay, Vanessa moves to accept, second?
Yes.
James seconds it. Discussion, all those in favor of accepting Mr. Happ's report? Is that? Okay, now we'll go to elementary. I again apologize, Kelly. Mr. Everett, you're up.
Thank you. Our total enrollment is 192. We have 90 males, 102 females. If you count in the preschool special needs kids, there's 15 of them, and CREA takes care of them in the mornings. That puts our total roster at 201. Our attendance as of November 12th was at 96.8%, with third grade being our highest and kindergarten being our lowest. We've had some things going around the school that have knocked some kids out, and it's going around again, so I expect that to go down, but we're still pretty good when we're well above the state average anyway. We currently have 19 teachers, 13 staff. Daily attendance for teachers 95.2, staff attendance 94.1. That's very good. Our total average daily attendance 94.7. I don't even know what bad would look like, but I think that's pretty good. We have had some medical issues for some teachers, some serious, some not so serious. So that's part of that. Talked about that. So the Swiss thing, we've been going to these professional development days. We've been to 2 of them now with NCEC, talking about this multi-tiered system of support for kids with academic, behavioral, or social emotional needs. And we were falling short of what we need to be doing to identify those kids early. Behavior being one of them. That Swiss application is something that I sought out, that I've used before, that will identify which kids, how often, what days of the week, what time of the day, all the information we need and all the data we need to make some corrections to some of our behaviors. We don't have a lot of behaviors, but we had no way to monitor it. So that's where that came in. Same thing with the MTSS team. We put together a team. We're going to have our first meeting on Friday afternoon. We're going to go upstairs, lock the door, and talk through all this data and identify those that need to be identified and come up with a system on how we're going to move forward with a system of support. We don't have a lot of needy kids. Our kids are well behaved. Our kids are doing well academically. You know, we do have a few behaviors. We do have a few of this and that, but nothing that we need to scream about. But we want to be able to identify quickly those if something does come up. So with that, that would be myself. We have our dean of students will be on the team. Our counselor will be on the team. Our primary grade teacher will be on the team. An upper elementary teacher will be on the team, and special ed will be on the team. So we'll have everything covered and all the needs. Our reading. So I looked at our reading and math proficiency as of our last STAR testing, and we're doing our last STAR testing for this year will be this week. But as of last week, 61.9% of our kids were proficient or will be proficient by the end of the year, according to our STAR data. The state benchmark or the state standard is 46% in reading and 40% in math, and 85.1% of our kids are expected to meet or exceed proficiency. I set our bar at 75%, and the state sets their bar at 50%. So we're doing much better than our state average as far as math, reading and math go. Now that includes all grades. We're only tested on the state assessment from grades 3 through 8 for elementary, but that includes first, second, third, and our kindergarten takes an early literacy test as well. Parent-teacher conference we had on the 13th through the 15th. We had 175 of 186 families attend. 94% of our families were at the conferences. 4 of our classrooms had perfect attendance. I'm pretty proud of that, and our teachers are proud of that. The 6th grade had Scrubs Camp last week with UND the Center for Rural Health does a Scrubs Camp every year for 5th and 6th graders. They enjoy it. It's kind of a health fair for kids and get them interested in pharmacy or doctoring or dentistry, whatever it might be. And they spent the day doing that. Halloween was successful. Halloween is literally a nightmare in elementary school. But the 6th grade had games in the gym, and all the classes attended. They had a blast. Costumes were worn. They had a parade. Families came to watch the parade. But I'm glad it's over. Yep, right. Sugar them up and send them on the bus. Yeah. Our 6th graders did a Veterans Day program that was amazing. Here are these young 12-year-old kids standing up in front of this audience, speaking eloquently and honoring our veterans. I was very proud of them, and I told them so. It was really fun to see that. Those kids were very brave. The NDTC, the telephone grant from the Foundation for Rural Telephones, or the Community Grant Program, did not come through. We did get the $5,000 that I wrote the grant for. We originally needed $11,000 to put phones in all of our classrooms. And here's what I'm going to say about that is, at that time we decided we'd wait and see what happens with the grant. Well, we didn't get it. And I apologize for that. I wish we would have. But we still need phones in those classrooms. We had one little girl with an episode one day that didn't get reported home fast enough because of obligations upstairs and not getting downstairs, and no way to communicate. That's just one of the many reasons. The communication thing is big, and I would like to see those phones. Now, it turns out that during our fundraising efforts this year, our kids raised $7,500, and that goes on top of the $13,000 that they made selling pizzas or whatever it was last year. So in that account, there is over $30,000. And that would be one way that we could, it hasn't been used for, at least for 2 years, I know that. Just a suggestion, we do have some money, and I feel like it's a need for our school. You go all the way from the main office down to the recess door, that's a long walk. That's a city block. And so if something were to happen, it'd be nice to have that communication in the classrooms. Anyway, that's my spiel. The Christmas concert's going to be December 11th at 6:30. I've had Mr. Weinman welcome me tonight. I felt welcome in the community. I've got out in the community. I've been to some football games. I went to take tickets one night and he kicked me out. My wife and I worked at the theater one night. That was a blast. So enjoying what's happening here at BM Hanson. A lot. Good staff, good, everybody works together. A lot of help. That's it.
Okay, appreciate your input. Let's, what are the boards thinking about his telephone request?
You know, it's kind of funny because before I even heard your suggestion, as soon as I seen this the other day, the first thing I did was go in and talk to Mr. Loft, and I said, first of all, why do we have that much in that account? Because every year with that fundraisers, it's earmarked or something, so I'm wondering what didn't get bought the last few years or whatever. So that was what I was gonna ask and say, could we use that?
And why are we asking our families to do all this work?
Yeah, right, exactly.
With no goal in mind.
Right, yeah, and I think we've had some goals, so I didn't know if maybe things come back cheaper than what they thought, or if things weren't being bought, I don't know, I can't say. But that was my thought too, that if there's that in there, because that still leaves way more than even what you need, whatever this year's was earmarked for, you know, things. So that was just my 2 cents, and then here, yes, you know, already had that idea.
Okay. Well, I believe that he makes some really good points here. Safety of our students is utmost, so we need to do as a board. So I think we need to do something about this, so how do we want to do it? You want to take it out of the account? You want to pay part of it? Other opinions?
What was the thing, what was it earmarked for this year and how much?
It wasn't earmarked at all. We did it because I was told we did it. And so we picked something out, and that's kind of how it worked.
So there would be great plenty, because I did go back in my packet and pull out, and yeah, it was $11,012.53. It could have changed a little bit because this was back in.
And that's
June.
kind of, and there's some rooms that won't need them either.
Yeah, right, so they could change a little up or down or something or other, but I think that would be a good, wise thing to do with that, because it was elementary funds raised, and it'd be a good, it'd definitely be a good reason, but anybody else thinks.
Other opinions?
I'm a little hesitant to do that without blessing from the grade school staff.
That's what, I was just gonna say the same thing.
Well, no.
My instinct would be, go back, have a staff meeting, and make sure before we pull this trigger, so to speak, you have the blessing from your staff to use those funds for that before we do anything. I agree 100%.
Because it's a lot of work, and they.
Yes.
Yeah, they
that's
have
why
projects that they want to do, and I don't know if there is something sitting there that they've been wanting to do. If there is, that should be.
That's what I was wondering, I was amazed to see that there was that much there, so.
And I'm okay with that too?
Do you want a motion saying contingent?
I think we need that.
I mean, so that we don't have to come back again and.
I think we need to act on this myself, because this safety concern of students is something we as a board need to address. So,
I'll make a motion that we would pay, first of all, you'll probably have to get a new estimate or whatever from them, and then to go move forward with doing the phone project for the classrooms after visiting with the elementary staff, if they're okay with the blessing.
with the blessing of the elementary staff. Okay, is there a second to that motion? Okay, the motion is that we will pay the $11,000 with this fund, with the blessing of the elementary staff, and then we'll go to discussion. And again, if you don't have it, you will check with that real soon. If not, you need to get back to us.
I will ask them.
And then we'll need to go to Plan B. Okay, any more discussion?
Just amend it to say that if we don't get the blessing from the staff, then we take it out of our.
General fund? Building fund? Would it could?
It
Would work with
it could come out of the building fund.
Could.
Yeah, it could.
Well,
I think that would be better.
To me, that would be a better fund to use.
Right.
Okay, so
Do you want me to amend it or just,
I'm on Vanessa to amend it.
okay.
I move we amend the motion to say that if the grade school staff is not good with using that money for that, then we take it out of our account.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, the amendment is we're going to amend this motion. If the elementary staff feels there are other needs for that, which is their right, then we will pay it out of our general fund. Any discussion on the amendment? Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Amendment passes. So the motion states that we will go ahead with this and take the $11,000 out of the elementary fund with their blessing. However, if they object, then we will pay it out of the general fund of the school. So one way or another, it's going to happen. Okay? Discussion, discussion, discussion. All in,
Or building fund.
or building fund, yes, yeah. Okay, did I say general fund? Building fund, right?
I would say building.
Building fund, okay. Everybody got that? Can you repeat that? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, I believe I'm gonna call this person by the right name.
I'm going to approve this.
Yeah, we need to approve his report. Is there any more questions for Mr. Everly first? Any more questions? Okay, then Vanessa moved to report, accept his report. Is there a second? A second by Vanessa. Motion made by Vanessa, second by Colette. Discussion, 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 all in favor, please say aye. Okay. Activity Director, that would be the one and only Mr. Brown.
Yes. I think you have my report in the packet. Everything like, the girls' basketball has now started. Like stated, low numbers. We're going to be able to make it work. We'll have a varsity and a JV team, which we weren't sure of, but we'll be okay. The FCCLA was, they've been busy having all their things going tomorrow. This is also getting ready for Turkey Feast. There's that. Music department had Northwest Musical Festival in Minot. This year only said 2 kids. Monday, December 1st, is a concert. Prior to that concert, Kelly came up, Kelly and I think probably Miss Freed and Mrs. Armstrong came up with a plan for a hot dish night. I'll let Kelly tag on that, tell about it.
Yeah, so Mrs. Freed and Mrs. Armstrong kind of have been spearheading everything. We're doing a hot dish versus casserole night. We have, I believe, 12 or 13 people bringing roasters of casserole in. Starting that at 5, going until 6:45 before our winter concert. All the proceeds are going to go to the Storbeck family. $10, you can try as many as you want. A cap of $40 for a family. And then we've been told Harvey PTC is coming in. They're going to have desserts for sale as well. We've got donations for drinks and rolls, and just a nice way that we can get back to a family that's on our staff and do some things for them. So we thought it was a great time. We've got a new music teacher that's putting on his first concert that's doing some really cool things in there as well. Some combination with band and choir working together on songs. So figured we can get some people out, support them, support the music program, and a little bit of everything, and have a good night.
I am so excited for this concert.
Yeah.
I've been hearing things.
Oh my
The
gosh.
kids are just,
From the start of this year, I mean, you have Mr. Shumway, and now they're working. There's finally going to be some stability in that program.
I hope so
She'll be
too.
back.
So many young kids and so
Yeah.
much energy.
And she has good energy for it. She's a perfect person for that program, I feel. It was mentioned about the Fall Awards Banquet. Wrestling has started. There's good stuff going to be happening with wrestling. One of the fun things I think that we're doing, we kind of talked about it last year and we made it happen. January 29th, we're going to have, at 5 o'clock, we're going to have a duel with Northern Lights. And during that time, we'll be over at the elementary gym with a JV game, JV boys basketball game. And then get done early enough to get back over here. And then when the wrestling's done, we're going to roll up the mats and have a varsity basketball game. So people will be able to come early, watch a wrestling match, stay for a basketball game. So we should that should be a good night. And we're gonna play St. John's. So St. John's and Northern Lights go together in wrestling, so it'll work out good for them too. And they're excited, and they want us to do that up there next year, which will be fine. Aaron mentioned the deal that he was with the FFA today, and they have been going around. I see they had a lot of kids, get a lot, place well today. So, now one topic, North Dakota High School Activities Association. That's been, I was at the Dakota Bowl Friday, and I don't think there's a person, I think there was a mark on me, because people scatter when they see me. So I've talked with almost everybody. One of the last people on the board I need to talk to was Larry Durr. He's from Glenburn. We met in the Baltimore today, but that was for a CNDC meeting. That's where all the restaurants in Rugby were closed, so we met there with the whole CNDC. But I had Larry, and we are 95% guaranteed we will not get moved back to Class B. They're not going to do anything with the numbers. So I've known that for a while, so now I've started the other route of talking to them about staying Class A but moving to the Northwest region. And it's finally resonating with some of these people, and it really did with Larry when I said that the concessions and the gate pay for our activity seasons. They fund everything we do, and when we go to Thompson, or Thompson comes to us, there's no gate, there's no concessions. We barely make enough to pay for the refs and the workers, and so we're not getting any gates, so the business side of it is hurting. And the other thing is we're taking kids 2.5 hours on a bus trip versus maybe an hour or hour and a half. And we can build some rivalries. And that resonated. When he heard that about the money piece, he said, you know what? He said, go with that. Use that. He said, I will write your letter, you get your stuff. I told Mayor and I were going to be there when they, read it and did everything. That he said, go with that, and I will advocate on that reason why you should go to the Northwest with the Rugby, Botno, Medrose, Des Lacs, some of those teams. And I don't know that if they would do it. I don't know that it would. I really doubt it would be this next year. Probably the 26 or 27, 28 year. But
You have to start now.
yeah, and so we're starting to get away, and it really hit home that Ranger Moran is not right. We were there for the volleyball regionals in Lakota, and we got done with all our meetings, and then all the ADs sit down and start looking at games and different things. We've already done most of the varsity. All these teams were able to sit down and discuss junior high, line up their events and their different games for junior high, and we're not going to send junior high teams that way. And they know each other, they all work together, and we're just kicked out to the side. So we cannot stay in that. But almost certain we will stay Class A, which is not a big deal. Their numbers, we're 190 between two schools. So, and I learned today, we're not the only ones that are hurting for numbers for kids going off for sports. Carrington is down to 9 boys in basketball varsity. They've had some injuries, and they're not getting into a lot. So, and then some of these other teams, the Drake Animus girls have 8, 9. Yeah. A lot of schools. Yeah, a lot of schools are having to move up. So
You say something about Kindred too?
Yeah, Kindred is. Yeah.
Low numbers in girls basketball or something like that?
Yeah, even the big schools. Minot, Mitch Lundy told me Minot will not field the sophomore girls basketball team this year. It's hard to feel sorry for Kindred. Yeah, it is. That's all I've got.
First of all, Tell us about Kelly's numbers. They're amazing. His wrestling numbers.
Oh, like 32 wrestlers?
30 boys, 17 girls.
That's phenomenal.
Wow.
So you are to be commended for building a wonderful program. And I think, Mike, I'll speak for the board. We appreciate the work you're doing to advocate for our kids. I know that I mean, a lot of people in the community are saying, we need to be beat, but you're saying, no, let's look at some positive things. And I think as a board, we appreciate how you're handling this, and so.
Well, I mean, barking, just going down, saying we need to be beat, for one, I mean, it's just flat not going to work. Their number is 163, you know, and I've had everybody tell me, well, then show me how it's gonna work. We want to have even numbers. I've done it where I've sat there on the weekends and tried to pencil, and you can't move teams around, and somebody's always gonna get it, so we are, so let's just, we do it, you know, granted, we do it in wrestling, we play all these others. Well, you're at a, per pound in your point. We play these big schools in football, and we compete, we can compete.
You're doing such a good job, you need to stay another year. Any more questions for Mr. Prom?
I do, well, it's actually maybe as much for Kelly as Mr. Brown, but is there anything we can do, the board can do, or personally, to help with the Starbuck?
No, not at this time. This is our first event. Mrs. Starbuck's going to be gone in Denver until the spring, so we plan to do something that night as a doubleheader, and then probably something a little bit later. So we'll reach out at that time. So this time we just kind of went in-house. We've got elementary and high school staff providing stuff, and so we're going to reach out to the community members when we do, because I believe our plan is silent auction and stuff, the night of the doubleheader, since there'll be people in town for that way and the field. Yeah.
Our best is to support what they do. Support everything we do. So.
Yeah.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to accept Mr. From's report.
I'll move to accept.
James?
I'll second.
Second by Colette. Discussion. All in favor of Mr. From's report, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Fall, it's a privilege to have you on board. You have anything you want to talk about?
I just kind of reiterate what Aaron said about Zone helping me out. He's really been available for me, and he's given me more confidence with his job. So it's just it's going forward, not backwards. So I just think that's been a positive situation. So, and then talking with Mr. Loff, and it's just working well.
So at some point, we maybe need to look at paying him or his services, or?
Yeah, I think for now he's just keeping track.
He's just keeping track of
Okay,
hours.
okay, we'll worry about that when you guys are done meeting. Okay, anything else, Mr. Bob?
So,
You're adapting to the job, and you and the assistant are working really well, she told me, so that's good to hear. It's good to hear.
She does a lot.
Yes.
I mean, it makes it easier. And I actually talked to her, and I say to her, I ask her, what do you want me to do that can help you with that? And she had some stuff with reconciliations.
That's awesome. Okay, we'll move to accept his report. What?
Second.
James? Okay, discussion. All in favor, please say aye. You have a question?
I do.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't.
It's on the revenue report, and if you don't know, that's fine, you can get back to me some other time, but, under the capital project fund, there's other sources, and that is actually to date. I would still like to see the revenue budget as well put in here, but anyway, the other revenue sources under capital projects, do you have any idea what that is? Or could you look at it and just get back to me?
Okay, anything else, Mr. Paul? Anything else? Okay, all those in favor of accepting these report, please say aye. All opposed? Okay. We'll go on to our items for possible discussion. We'll start with credit card signatures.
Well, so obviously with new superintendent, new business manager, we figured it was probably a good opportunity to update which signatures we wanted on our credit cards. Chad, you want to give a little more insight into that?
Well, it's from the First International Bank credit cards. It's not the First State Bank one, or the Dakota Heritage Bank. But right now, the signatures were Louisa, Kenny Shield, and Kathy Walsh.
You let him sign, let him sign.
One more day. I got it.
Bet you didn't know Kenny
Yeah, so I found, when I found that out at the bank, I was like, oh, does Kenny have a credit card somewhere?
How do you think I'm farming, you guys? Let's be real.
So we need to make that adjustment. We
So-
have board minutes to,
I would entertain a motion that we adjust the signatures at First International.
Okay, but first I need to ask approval of nominating before I can make a motion.
Oh, it should be Aaron and,
It should be somebody, anybody else.
I would assume one board member should be on there. To have three.
okay, I suppose I would earn that title as president. Okay, you all good with that? Okay, so can you make that your motion for that, Colette?
Okay. So I will make a motion that we change the signatures on the First International Bank and Trust credit card to have Mr. Roth, Mr. Fall, and Mr. Anderson.
Is there a second to that motion? Okay, Bradley seconds it. Discussion? Discussion. All in favor of putting superintendent, business manager, and board president on the signature? Please say aye. All opposed? Okay. Co-op financial, Mr. Locke, is that you?
Yes. So at our initial fall co-op meeting, which was held on September 17th, there was some discussion about the financial split between school districts to fund activities for our co-op. Currently it sits at a 60-40 split, Harvey paying 60%, Pheasant and Bowden paying 40%. They were proposing a split based specifically on enrollment. And if my memory serves me correctly, it was about 31 to 32% for them, which would leave us with 68 to 69%. In order for that to be amended or changed in the co-op agreement, those numbers need to be agreed upon and approved by both school boards. I do know that Pheasant and Bowden at their at their October meeting, they approved a split based on enrollment percentage. In order for that to, like I said, ring true for the entire co-op agreement, that those numbers would have to be approved at our board level as well. So theoretically, you would put about a 8 to 9% increase of pay, or split of the financials would increase for Harvey Public Schools District. So it's kind of up to you guys to decide if you want to make that transition. Just as a little, just for some background information, that the 60-40 split was initially agreed upon, if my memory serves me correctly, it was spring of 2021. We had several contentious meetings, and ultimately it was decided at a 60-40 split. Dollars and cents wise, what does 9% look like? I honestly can't tell you off the top of my head.
Probably about $12,000.
Yeah. So just some food for thought. Another thing that I factor into that I'll honestly say I didn't think about before when I was an athletic director at Pheasant is that we still have a bigger piece of the pie, obviously, but something I never considered was how much work the head activities director, Mr. Prom, does in scheduling games, scheduling officials, everything. That is a big load, and he does literally everything with the exception of softball and track. So.
And our business manager does all the financials.
Yes. So that's just kind of food for thought. Help you guys make a decision.
And aren't we still driving the bigger percentage?
Uh,
Or is that
yeah,
better this year?
it really gets, once track and
Does
softball
it
and
kind of-
girls wrestling,
It gets better.
It evens
Yeah,
out a little more.
we, I mean, to me, I look at that, and the 12,000, I don't, okay, so we would actually have 1 or 2 more games. I'm not gonna make up $12,000 in concessions, because the gates are split whatever number that is, so
Yep.
that part doesn't matter.
No.
Well, they
That's
didn't
it.
say anything, they still want the 50-50 game.
Well, and that would, yeah, I mean, that would have to be renegotiated, that would not be, I mean, that's a big number. To be a split that is considered a co-op.
I'd like to make a motion that we stay with the 60-40, just because of all the things that Mr. Love said that we do, that we need.
Is there a second to that motion? Is there a second to that motion? Bradley, second it? Moved by Colette, second by Bradley, that we stay in the 60-40. Discussion.
What is, and maybe nobody knows the answer to this, but what is the percentage of participation? I don't know if that matters.
It's, you know, and this is a sore subject, probably in the community more than anything. With us having to move up, they are bringing 3 students from Fesden to Harvey for boys basketball. That's the driving factor. The girls, 6 girls. Yeah, so about half. So on the basketball, girls basketball side, it'd be 50%.
It's about, yeah.
Yeah,
60%.
boys very small.
Probably 15%.
Wrestling, pretty good. Yeah, and the girls would be more. Softball, probably a 50-50, maybe a little more Fisden.
I mean, another thing you'd have to consider, and I know each district pays individual coaching contracts specifically if they're employed by the school district, but I believe we have quite a few more contracts held in our school district than they do.
And one of the things that's always kind of bothered me too, is they can have the games. And so, I mean, yes, they wanted the percentage, but they still could have the games. So, I mean, I think we're being more than fair. I think we're being more than fair.
Well, I feel like with all the
I think
extra,
we're being more than fair by giving them 60-40 and giving them half the games. I think we're being more than fair, so.
well, and all the extra work, like I said, we pay for
Yeah.
Mr. Fromm's contract, and Teresa spends all those hours.
And I don't mean to be mean to anything, I just think we need
No,
to be a nice cohesive unit. I think it's been, how many years has it been?
2010.
2010?
First year. Yeah, the winner of 10.
Okay.
Well, and I know there's a reason that we have these discussions to be 60-40.
And that was
40 years ago.
That was some of the reasons. That and we at that time we're driving about 90. It's been a little bit.
Okay, seeing, any more discussion? Any more discussion? Any more discussion? The motion is that we will stay at 60-40 as a board, so we're recommending. All those in favor, please say aye. Brad, second. And I will also say aye, so the motion passes unanimously. So we can go on record as saying we, as a board, we unanimously behind the 60-40. Okay, Mr. Fall, you want to read the resignation, please?
Yes, it's from Teresa Elditz to Mr. Locke and Mr. Every. I wanted to share that I decided to retire at the end of the school year after 25 wonderful years in special education and several more years back in both general and special education roles. I feel ready to step into a new chapter, one a little more time for family, friends, and travel. Coming back after my first retirement was such a meaningful experience. I truly enjoyed working with our students and being such part of a supportive and caring school community. It's been a joy to see students grow, learn, and succeed, and I'm grateful for all the memories I've made along the way. Thank you for your leadership and support. I'll do my best to make the transition as smooth as possible before I leave. With appreciation, Teresa Elditz.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to accept the resignation with heartfelt sincerity.
I move to accept her resignation with much, much heartfelt sincerity. She has been bounced around and been so willing and just taken on a whole lot. I appreciate what she's done a lot.
She's a very, very good teacher.
Absolutely.
Right, I'll second it and I'll second what she said.
Okay? Probably move a second that we heartfully approve this, and I think we're all in agreement. I don't think we need to discuss this. All in favor, please say aye. Okay, Mr. Locke, I'm gonna ask you what your recommendation is. Do we open this up immediately?
I think every day that you don't have it advertised as a potential lost candidate.
And we're gonna need a teacher.
Right, now, I'm not sure how this school district has done it in the past. Typically, in my opinion, that particular position should be available to in-house personnel first. Should somebody, say, choose to transition from second grade to third grade or whatever.
Right, that kind of gets,
It becomes
every year
kind of-
that can change a little bit.
Right.
People can't, yeah.
Right,
So,
but
because when
I
we hire
just-
someone, we don't hire them for a certain grade.
Yes. The advertisement would be for an elementary teacher.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Locke is recommending we open this immediately. What are the board's wishes?
I agree, I make a motion that we open it up immediately for elementary ed.
Is there a second? Okay, Colette, James, move that we open the elementary ed position immediately because there's no use to waste time. Any discussion? Discussion? I know I said I had seen you, not to say your opinion as the board president. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, future facts teacher discussion. Mr. Locke?
So I had a Zoom meeting with Mr. Verbitsky here last week, just kind of to talk about his schedule next spring. So based on the contract that was approved by the school board in June, he will be joining our staff as a paraprofessional in the spring. Kind of specifically within the facts department, but in talking with Tanner, he's more than willing if there's a need for him to work one-on-one with a kid in a subject area, he'd be willing to do that. He also has a substitute license, so if need be, he could do a little bit of subbing in a pinch. He will be here Wednesday through Friday of every week. He has a lab class that he has to be in Fargo on Tuesday morning, so he'll be available or here Wednesday through Friday. So that's kind of the plan, and then come next fall, he'll be doing finalizing the student teaching and shortly thereafter becoming the teacher of record. So one of the things that in the agreement, and we've discussed this a little bit in the past, was a $5,000 tuition payment to North Dakota State University, and I don't believe that payment's been made yet. If it has not, I think we should get that sent off in short order just to ensure that everything is seamless moving forward.
That's already been a motion, so we can move ahead and do that.
Yep.
And I think this is thinking outside the box, so I'm excited about this. So otherwise, that's just for clarification.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, virtual day is classified staff.
You missed one.
Open enrollment. Okay. You have that on your, you guys have, remember we cannot talk about names, so you have it in your packet. There is one open request to come in, and there's one open request to go out.
Correct.
So I would accept the motion, I would entertain a motion to accept both open enrollment applications.
I'll make a motion to accept both of the open enrollments, one is going in and one is going out.
Okay, is there a second? Okay. Probably move in second that we accept these open enrollment. One is going out of our district and one is coming in. Discussion, we can't discuss it. All in favor, please say aye. Okay, motion passes. Now we can get to virtual days.
So, in talking with some of our staff, we're still trying to navigate what it looks like. If we know that there's a potential for a weather system coming in, the potential of looking at a virtual day option at both of the schools. The question with that becomes, what do we do with our ancillary staff as far as compensation, expectations, etc.? So that it's kind of a discussion point more than anything. In talking with various different school districts, I hear that some districts just pay them, some districts do not, some districts have expectations of hours that they need to put in to make up that time. So they're kind of all over the board. More often than not, unless there's something that they can do during those virtual days, the topic of compensation really isn't there. So I guess it's kind of up to you guys to decide from there.
Could that be something where, say, they make themselves available a certain part of the day so that if a parent or a student has a question, that there's more than one person that they can contact?
Kind of did that, I think they did that the last year or so, but let's say if there is a virtual day, because it's
Yep.
storming, and the teachers are online, we would let the parents, they just have to, what we did is, I think that Mr. Lucan said, is that they just had to email them and say that I was on these hours, and, you know, we don't have to do it step by step, but to
Right.
verify that they were helping kids and students or whatever, or something. This would also cover other people too,
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
parents. I did call 16 different schools, kind of like our size. I went Turtle Lake, Washburn, Wing, North Star, Underwood, you know, of course, east, west, north, all around. And it's pretty much like you said, they all did. And a couple of them, if they would, it was, maybe they'd have them, one district offered that, okay, if it stormed 2 days that week, that Saturday, if they wanted to come in, let's say if it was a custodial and things were really behind, they could do that, you know, if they wanted to make up some hours. One of them did book studies if they wanted to, like with maybe like kitchen custodial could do things about maybe safety, and maybe parents did something else if they wanted to. Otherwise, all of us, we don't, because it has to be hours worked that you're reporting for PERS and Social Security and whatever and things, so, and benefits are being paid, and the health insurance for those days, so. But yeah, I'd be open if there was something that if you wanted to make up some days or whatever, and the only thing that they can do is if they want to opt to use, they can use a personal day of vacation, you cannot let them use a sick day. That's the law. You can only do a personal vacation day if they want to use it in place of.
I don't know if it works for paras, I'm not sure how that would work. Why couldn't we for kitchen staff, custodial, and secretaries, why couldn't we use some kind of flex time? Because there's always weeks that are busy, that are, you know, they're working over and above the hours. I mean, can't we figure out something that way?
Right, but they're getting paid for those hours then, if they're working over and above. Like our custodial, they're getting overtime when they do work over them, so. Because we have to, have no choice. If they put in more than, like a custodial, if they put in more than 40 hours, which unfortunately we've had one that poor guy's been by himself so much that they are getting paid for everything. So, but I said, I'm open to the, especially like parents can help them. And most of them, like I said, too, kind of like with us, they don't do a lot of virtual, you know, a lot of them just make it up instead. You know, so they don't have a lot of questions about that or whatever and things, but I just thought I'd call, and I did, and I checked, and other than those two, having those two ideas, the rest all said.
Well, the truth is that they work very hard and they make very little.
Right.
And it's hard to hire and sustain, you know, people that are good people when, you know, if they're missing 2 days a week, that's a big part of their check.
Right. That's why I said I'd be open to, let's say, if it is a virtual day, first of all, we know our pairs can, they can, and I'm open to the other ones. Hey, if maybe all of a sudden this Saturday I want to come in and make up some hours or something, I mean, I'm open to it, I'm flexible with it.
Do some deep cleaning in the kitchen.
Right, yeah. You know, if they wanted to, I mean, I'm certainly willing to try to be a little
So we can
flexible.
get their hours. I agree. Find somebody.
I mean, I prefer to try to not use virtual days.
Right,
I
yeah.
agree with you.
Exactly.
That's the stage, yeah, and that's what a lot of them said, they try not to, so it doesn't come up, so, and I'm sure that we haven't used a lot of them either, other than cold festivals, but since then.
And for me, it's kind of one of those things, if they're predicting 10 days out that there's a big 2 or 3 day storm coming, I think that's where the virtual days come in
If
handy.
there's enough time for the teachers to
100%.
prepare to actually have a
Yes.
decent day.
It's not gonna be
So
me
many
making,
people-
it's not gonna be me making a call at 6 a.m. and saying it's a virtual day. If it's that late in the game, it's just gonna be no school.
And especially the elementary, they have to make packets,
Yes.
you know, and things that.
Okay, so what am I hearing here? We're gonna kind of hold off on this, or we don't really know what we want to do, or?
Well, just try not to do as much virtual, I mean,
We need to put something in place though, because this question comes every time.
Okay, so we want to entertain a motion?
I guess.
For
Yeah.
for Mr. Love to come with a proposal.
To December?
Okay.
If you want me to come with one for December, I can do that. I don't have one right now, I can tell you that. And you gotta understand from my perspective, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because I wanna do right by the school district financially, but at the same time, you gotta take care of the people who are there every day taking care of your kids. And that's what we gotta find a way to make a compromise there, and I'll get something lined up.
Okay, so we're putting that under, it'll show up under discussion at our next meeting?
That's fine.
Okay, is that what I'm hearing? Okay, everybody else good with that? All right, so we will go to Lego Robotics grant.
So, Mrs. Dean had shared with me a letter that she was going to submit to the Eagles Club. I got it right here somewhere. Essentially, it says, in order to remove any barriers to entry and give every interested student the opportunity to participate, the club doesn't charge any fees to participants. If this grant is approved, grant funds will be used entirely for student materials and equipment, including Lego Spike Prime kits, robotics components, and creative supplies such as vinyl and blank shirts that students will use to design and produce their own team apparel. These items are essential learning tools supporting both the technical and creative aspects of robotics as students build, program, and brand their team with pride. Grant funds will not be used for administrative expenses. It was a request to the Eagles Club in the amount of $1,000. So I guess with your guys' blessing, she would pass that on to the Eagles Club.
How much?
1,000.
But I think she had some other ones too, right? It just. All of a sudden, it's gonna check. I think it's a wonderful thing. I mean, I've always liked Lego, as you said. I'm glad that you just want to reassure
Going to
everybody.
the board for a Lego grant.
It's written as, she versed it as a grant, but maybe it's a fund request more than anything.
I would say it's more, my personal opinion, it's more of a fund request.
Right. I'll make a motion that we do go ahead and approve her request or her fund request. So I just want to remind everybody that I do appreciate that she
Yeah.
need to ask first.
Yeah.
But I think it's great. I think they're doing a great job. So that's my motion, is to approve her request.
Is there a second? Okay, James? James moved a request, Mrs. Dean's fund request. Discussion?
It's 1,000.
It's 1,000.
That's
but
what this
She's
is.
gotten more than.
She's gotten more though, that's what they're trying to say. She's gotten donations from people.
Yeah.
But she did really ask for.
She did some other requesting too.
Yeah.
But it's,
So,
She
so
has
that's why I didn't want to say an amount.
yeah.
She has 32 kids
Yeah.
signed up for her. So she's on the 3 teams.
Sometimes it's not that easy. Yeah, no one.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to say an amount. I just say I'll accept, I'll approve her
I think
fund.
you have to give her credit for coming forward and asking permission, so.
Right.
I think that's a big thing here. Okay, any more discussion? Discussion. All those in favor then of accepting, allowing her to do that fund request, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have EL service agreement that you guys all have in your packet.
Yeah, so we've been, Mr. Every and Mr. Hass and I have all kind of been working with Miranda from, she's Korea, correct? She does some EL services, specifically in line of assessment, and we've had some new students enroll in our district that needed assessments as well. And in order to fulfill those EL requirements in a timely manner, I had to sign a service agreement with Miranda. And I did that, it's in your packet.
She screened 3 kids, and she screened 4 kids, and 3 of them qualified for EL services.
I think in here it says $1,548.
So it is a service that is it's something that is required by the state of North Dakota, and unfortunately staffing is not. So
Do we need to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve the EL service agreement.
Is there a second? Second. Okay, probably move second, that we accept this Korea request of $1,548 to serve our students. Discussion.
I had some questions, not necessarily about this agreement, but about that, because I know we had to be a little bit creative to get these services covered, so I guess my question is what is our status? How's that going?
I'm still kind of working with her to see what all the moving parts, how we can fit that in place. To be honest with you, my knowledge of
The way I understood it is she is representing us right now.
Yeah.
So if we have to have a person on record for our EL person, she is the person. And then she's guiding, we have one of our paras that is helping the Spanish-speaking kid, and others that are going to be helping the kindergarten kids that one's from South Africa, another one's from Africa. So we have it covered for now.
So she's acting as the EL coordinator?
Yep.
Didn't we have last year, did
Yep.
we create a self, I thought
Yep.
the same thing?
Yep.
Maybe, I don't know if it was the same
She comes in, does
individual, but last year that's what they
She
were.
does the testing and sets up the ILP meeting and then works with the staff to, she doesn't deliver curriculum, but helps them find resources. She just, her workload is unbelievable. It is from every corner of the state, from the border to north border to south border. You just can't find them.
So are our students getting their required minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
But that's from staff members, right?
Yep. Yep. With her direction.
Yep.
Okay? Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Any more discussion? All those in favor of accepting this agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, Mr. Locke, you want to talk about your wellness committee you formed?
Yes, I have secured several parents and community members there. I guess I never really talked to you school board members specifically if any of the motion that was approved called for up to 2 school board members to be on that wellness committee. So I guess if there's anybody here that would like to do that, up to 2 of you, please speak up.
Thought it was Vanessa, I'm
Yeah, well, we can do
not
Vanessa.
gonna volunteer her.
I think I remember hearing that too.
Yeah. I thought, but I'm not gonna volunteer her, I will volunteer, but.
And when I've reached out to people, it's a lot of questions like, well, what is this gonna look like? I said, to be entirely honest with you, I'm not 100% sure. You know, I mean, obviously it's something that is kind of.
So how many members you have?
I, as of right now, have 6. And I still, I haven't,
It said up to, so.
yeah, I haven't done anything with the students just yet because I can't decide if I want to get elementary kids involved or what that's gonna look like. It's kind of, it's tough with separate buildings.
I think in all the categories, we said
Up
up
to,
to, because
yes.
we thought in case.
It said up to 2 head cooks, up to 2 board members, up to 2 principals, up to 2 Phi Ed teachers, up to 4 students, up to 2 community members, up to 2 parents, and up to 1 district health county official.
Which adds up to a lot.
And you don't have to answer that portion just yet. If you want to think about it and get back to me, but yeah, it's a matter of mostly.
One is volunteer, so we have one. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's still. We're still ironing that stuff out.
Okay, we okay with that then?
Any rush, it's the rush of the fact that we need to do some things to protect the health and safety of the students as it is.
And I agree with that. So I think with that, we need to move on. I think we've all expressed our opinions. We all have opinions, and I think we need to respect each other. I think that's important here. And I think that we can go back and worry about what happened in the past. This is how we're going to move forward.
Yep.
All right. So, Mr. Fall, you have a bid to open for snow removal.
It's from Harvey Ready Mix. This is cat loader with only bids for 2025 a year. Cat loader with snow pusher, $200 an hour. Cat 279 skid steer, $150 per hour. From Harvey Ready Mix and Christie Foot.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Loft, explain how you would probably use that.
And just for clarification on that, she did kind of ask what our needs were as a school district. We obviously have a payloader that the district uses to clean out our big lot at the grade school on the east side, and also obviously our big parking lot at the high school over here on the west side. For me, it was more so if we have a bigger snow event, how can we keep our loop in front of the school cleaned out instead of overworking our custodial staff and having them have to come in at 5:30 in the morning and do all of that stuff before they get to their regular duties. For me, it's mostly that front loop and sidewalks around the high school, and probably occasionally the stuff around the grade school too, depending on the magnitude of the event. I like the fact that it's bid at an hourly rate as opposed to a monthly rate. I've known of school districts where there's a flat monthly rate whether you use them or not. And I don't think that's fair, because some winters you're not going to hardly use them at all.
And I'm hearing that you're going to make the discretion, you're going to make the call what they can do,
Yes.
and you're not going to let them, and you'll use your best judgment
Yes.
on that?
Yep.
Okay, so what are the wishes of the bid?
That's all we got, and it's been in the paper
Yep.
for how many weeks now?
4
4
or 5.
Most of the time we usually have snow by now, so. Guess I make a motion
Did you take the bid and use at Mr. Loft's discretion?
to, yes, because I think that's a fair price.
At his discretion. Okay, is there a second? Okay, probably moved by Brad, second by James, that we're going to accept the bid from them. Say that again, please, Chad.
The cat 950 loader with 14-inch snow pusher is $200 an hour.
Okay,
14 foot, I mean. I say inch.
Yeah.
Cat 279 skid steer for $150.
okay. And the motion then is to, at that price, at Mr. Loft's discretion, he will decide what has to be used. Any more discussion?
So you mentioned the sidewalks, what about them?
What do you mean?
Skid steer.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Like-
we're not shoveling, we're just.
Well, right. Say we show up to work and there's 3-4 inches of snow that can be shoveled off. Easy breezy, we can do that. But if we show up after a big storm and there's 2-foot drifts in front of the school, I'd much rather have a skid steer or equipment do it than.
Okay, okay. And again, at his discretion, I think we trust him, so. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Any more discussion? All in favor of accepting this bid, please say aye. Motion passes. Okay, music lessons.
Okay, so Mr. Guzman came to me a couple weeks ago and was kind of inquiring about the possibility of doing some private lessons with students for me, the opportunity for kids to do that, especially in small schools, is kind of fading by the year. It would be something where he would line up a time or a day of the week where he would be giving private lessons to a student or a group of students, etc. He would simply be charge a rate to those parents. It would bear zero cost to the school district. He'd simply utilize that music room to do so.
So all he's asking is to utilize his room. They will pay him if we don't have any costs.
100%.
That's outside of school or?
Yeah,
Outside
of school.
yes.
Outside of school.
Yes, not during contract.
It should not be during contract
It would
hours.
not be. It would have to be outside of contracted hours.
It's outside of contract hours.
Yep.
I don't know how you can lose here, people, but I can't make a motion, so someone needs to do that.
I'll make a motion to let him do it outside the contract.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, probably move to a second that we allow Mr. Franz to use the school building after school hours,
Before or after?
before or after, okay, outside of school hours.
Yeah,
How's that word?
sorry.
Outside of school hours, before 8 and after 3:30. Can use that, and then no cost to the school. Discussion, discussion, discussion. All in favor? Please say aye. Okay? Motion passes. All right. December meeting date. Maybe the third Wednesday of December.
December 17th.
December 17th. This guy's a little interfering on this girl. Arnold's anniversary tonight, so it was like, yeah. Anyway, so on the 17th, anybody got any conflicts? As of now, no? Okay, we'll all set then, the 17th at 7 p.m. All right. With that, I would accept the motion to adjourn the November meeting at 9:10.